Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now. No upsets on day 3 in round 1 of this T20 World Cup, but it had drama, it had a hat-trick, it had a low-scoring thriller, it had some exceptional pace bowling on display as Namibia took on the Netherlands in Game 1, then Sri Lanka took on the UAE in Game 2. Let's recap it all in our match story. High on a confidence-boosting win against Sri Lanka in their first game, Namibia opted to bat first after winning the toss. But the story with the bat for Namibia was quite similar to the story in the first game. They kept losing wickets, 3 inside the power play and then some post that as well. The hero with the bat was again Jan Freiling, but this time around, there wasn't a flourish in the finish. No 60-plus runs in the last 5 overs. No heroics from JJ Smith either, which meant that Namibia had, by the end of the 20 overs, a score that they would have liked to add at least 15 to 20 extra runs. Just 121 runs on the board. Bas de Leede was brilliant with the ball once again for the Netherlands. Netherlands came out to bat and it seemed like it would be curtains very early for Namibia because they'd already scored 50-plus runs inside the power play. But then the wickets started to tumble. Namibia were on their A game with the ball, especially once the ball got softer. They kept chipping away at the wickets. And it also seemed like Netherlands, in a bid to improve their net run rate, were kind of committing harakiri out there as well. But then good sense prevailed. That one man who can do no wrong for Netherlands at this point in time, Bas de Leede, was right there, out there to finish it for the Netherlands, finally winning the game by 5 wickets, but taking the game deep, like very deep, to the final over of the game after having scored 50-plus runs in the power play. Netherlands surviving a scare, but this one was a thriller of a contest. Netherlands, though, still remain in the hunt for a spot in the Super 12s. For the second game of the day, it was do or die time for Sri Lanka. They needed to win this game to stay in contention for a spot in the Super 12s. UAE won the toss and opted to field first, citing that there might be dew in the later stages of the game. Dasun Chanaka also said that he would have preferred to chase down a target on this track. But with the bat, Sri Lanka seemed like they were out with a lot of fire. 50-plus runs inside the power play. Kusal Mendes could not really carry on, but Pathum Nissanka, Dhananjaya De Silva were both very good, stringing together good partnerships. At one point, in the 15th over, they were 117 for 2. Good batters out there. It seemed like it was time for Sri Lanka to put that foot on the pedal and take this score to perhaps 170, 180, you never know. But then a young leggy, Karthik Mayappan from the UAE, just spun a web around them in just 3 balls. Rajapaksa, Asalanka, Shanaka, all gone in a span of 3 balls. Mayappan picking up the first hat-trick in this T20 World Cup, and that kind of derailed all the momentum that especially Pathum Nissanka had built for Sri Lanka. They had to rebuild again. But Nissanka was the one man out there. He seemed desperate to get those runs. At one point, he hit a shot in which he lost his shoe on his right foot. It was that desperate out there. But some very good bowling from the UAE as well. Kudos to Mayappan, but also kudos to Zahoor Khan, who bowled a brilliant last over, picked 2 wickets in it, gave nothing away for that. And he bowled those Yorkers, really nailed them towards the end. But Sri Lanka ended up with a very competitive total on the board. 152 on a track like this might just be tricky. UAE came out to bat and they were greeted with some raw pace from Sri Lanka. Nissanka Chameera denting them real hard up top. He was bowling with pace, the ball was jagging off the track, doing all sorts of things, and the UAE batters just didn't seem to have a response to Chameera's pace, which meant that the UAE within the power play had already lost 4 crucial wickets. And when you're dented that bad, in a decentish chase of 153, you don't really come back, especially when the quality in the opposition is immense. There's Nissanka Chameera, there's Madhushan, there's also Hasaranga, all of whom were amongst wickets. There's Shamika Karunaratne, who was bowling really well. Sri Lanka thumping back with a win against the UAE, still staying in contention for a spot in the Super 12s. UAE, for all practical purposes, are out of that race. I mean, they still have a mathematical possibility, but that would take a lot of calculations and a lot of luck factor. Sri Lanka stay alive, UAE are out. Netherlands and Namibia was a low-scoring thriller. Day 3 had it all in this round 1 of the T20 World Cup. That's all on this update. Make sure for everything else cricket, you stay tuned to Cricbuzz.